Hadn't updated. Alright everybody, so welcome back to another Friday Night Magic tournament, a standard affair here at Lost Legion Games and Comics in South Charleston, West Virginia. My name, as always, Zachary Evans, joined tonight, at least temporarily, by Mr. Brett Rose. And we are going to be bringing you 4 rounds of Magic action tonight in the Swiss, followed by a cut to top 8. Let's talk about our first round matchup already underway as we see Brandon Gibbs on the right leading off with a stomping ground out of his Gruul Aggro deck, facing off against the local legend himself, Adam Vickers, with his homebrew bug control deck. Magic is very easy when you chain 2 emissaries into a flint hoof boar. Let's see what Adam can do here. So he's going to fire off a turn 2 Farseek, which is exactly what this deck wants to do on turn 2. If you haven't seen Adam's deck in action in previous weeks, it's his own concoction. It's a bug control list, but it's the standard cards you would expect. Black Removal, Liliana's, I think he's got a Vraska in there. Curse of Death's Hold, which is a card that lost a lot of favor, but I don't understand why. It's still very good. And there's, Plasm Capture, I think he's playing in 1 or 2 of them. Yeah. But he's going to eat 7 damage here. He'll be dead next turn, basically, if... Well, Brandon doesn't have any follow-up, so that may give Adam 2 turns. He's got a Liliana, which is going to save him... Oh, he didn't play the Liliana?
Maybe he's got an Abrupt in there.
Oh, Putrefy. Yeah, his play is much better. Hellrider coming down from Brandon, effectively saving him... I don't know what the math is, but 3 triggers, and had him already down to...
4 triggers.
Had him already down to 6. I realized I didn't give him the life total counter.
That would have just been game.
There's a... I'll do it in a second, you don't have to worry about it. So that should knock Adam down to 2. There's a Gore-Clan Rampager on an unblocked creature. And I'm rewarded by... having a 5-second match. So, let me run this out there too real quick.
It's like you put those cards in your deck for a reason. Yeah, I know, right? Just have them sit in my... You want to be unfair. That's what I'm trying to do every time. That's the whole point. For me to just sit here and be like,
yeah, I went out there to discuss standard with them and ended up talking about show and tell.
Yeah, I heard.
Because that's what I do, Brett. So, let's take this opportunity, like we do every week, to thank the fine folks here. I gotta get some new graphics, man.
These are getting old.
Well, I made these like the very first week, and then while I've improved a lot of things, I never think about that. And I'm also not like a graphic artist by trade, like it's not something I excel at. But I do want to thank the folks here at Lost Legion Games and Comics who let us hijack their FNM and broadcast it each and every week. It's not... It makes a little bit more work for them. JB's got to print out extra sheets. They have to let me rearrange the tables out there in the ways that I see fit. But these guys, obviously, super easy to work with, a great place to play. Every week, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on Friday, that's when we start broadcasting Friday Night Magic. Obviously, if you're watching live, you know where the website is. But if you're watching on YouTube after the fact, come and check us out live sometime. Twitch.tv/ZachSellsMagic. Do you know what my slogan is, Brett?
What's that?
Can't make your FNM, come watch ours.
Oh, yeah.
It's classic.
That is.
It's classic. I talked about a little while ago, if those of you who don't follow us on our Facebook page, facebook.com/ZachSellsMagic. A few weeks ago I asked, I've been getting a lot of interest in, stream-related paraphernalia.
Mm-hmm.
So I asked people, how serious is everybody talking about? And I got, super good feedback. So I'm in the process of trying to source out some, we already have a good relationship with Inked Playmats, who hooked us up with this awesome playmat.
It is very, very nice looking.
Yeah, it could not have been any nicer. I literally could not have expected it to work out any better than that. But I think we maybe contacted them about making some of those. But Yeah, so stay tuned to that on our Facebook page as well as my Twitter at Zach Sells Magic. Question in the chat: do we take any requests about matchups to show? You can always recommend, and I will use that information as I see so fit. A lot of times it's difficult because you have to balance like people who've already been on camera versus, sometimes you have players that don't want to play on camera. Then you always have people who will not perform very well under camera. That's always because here's what happens. I want to put new people in different decks on the stream. But then I get railroaded on YouTube for the entire week following because there was a non-tier 1 deck and somebody made a mistake, and I just ruins my evening when I get this stream of emails about how, like a few weeks ago, Garrett was playing Junk Reanimator, and he had an acidic slime and chose not to take out the Rest in Peace.
That was against me.
Yeah, but at that point in the game, he's probably already at just hardcast my dudes mode. Yeah. So I understand it's not like Garrett didn't think it through. You know what I mean?
He actually takes out mulches against anyone that's playing white and could possibly have that. So I mean.
But I just think it's funny. It's just like that one thing, and there's
Yeah, a whole bunch of heck for it.
Yeah, just like a couple comments. They weren't necessarily like super point they weren't barbs or anything, but it's just like I don't know. It's just people playing FNM. That's what I try to explain to people. It's these are the same people who sit next to you at your FNM. It's just that we have a camera.
Yeah.
So every week I tell people, first of all, I appreciate that people actually will play under the camera. Because otherwise, if people said no all the time, we wouldn't have this.
Yeah.
Second of all, give them a break. Nobody's sitting behind you and second-guessing all of your plays at FNM.
I went back and watched that match, and I think Garrett played it absolutely. I mean, he did stuff right.
Mm-hmm. He does know what he's doing.
Yeah. And
he's playing that tomorrow at the Star City Games Standard Open in Columbus. Is Brandon going down to 5?
Yeah, he's mauling.
I noticed that the video it's not too bad, but there's a little bit of chop in it. I don't have the strongest network connectivity tonight. I think somebody might be out there on an unauthorized laptop.
Playing? Yeah, they were playing League of Legends out there.
Mm-hmm. That's the opposite of what we need to happen. Man, a lot of the Magic players have started playing League, and my Twitter stream is now dominated by League of Legends stuff.
Yeah.
And now I know what it feels like for people who don't like Magic to watch somebody else's Twitter stream. Because I could care less about jungling and 4v5s and. All right, so Brandon has found a 5-card hand that he will keep, each player leading off with a tapped dual land. So Adam on the play here is a huge advantage. Yeah. You can get your abrupt decays if you want them. On turn 2, you can get to your putrefies 1 turn earlier. We see is it a lightning mauler or is it a fire fist striker?
That's the battalion dude can't block.
Yes.
Is that the fire fist striker?
I think it is. So a Searing Spear takes out a Vampire Nighthawk. There's a Liliana, so the striker's going to go away.
This is probably a really terrible matchup for Vickers.
It's not the greatest matchup for him, but he's control decks are built to beat the aggro decks. Interesting there. Hellrider coming down, just going straight to Vickers, not going to take out the Liliana. And there is a Thragtusk. So Adam's basically going to go back up to his original life total. We've already seen one Searing Spear take out an early Vampire Nighthawk, so it's going to be somewhat unlikely that Brandon can get through that Thragtusk. He might just have to well, no, he's got another spear in his hand. I stand corrected. He does have a second spear. So I think you would attack, and then after blocks, blow it up, so you at least get the 1 damage in.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to spear it at some point, right? Adam's at 19. You're not in burn mode. You're not going to get there from 19. So here comes Reckoners. It is a reckoner.
Leaving a green up. Oh, because it has to be red, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Brandon attacking with the Hellrider, sending the trigger at Liliana, and then Adam's going to trade his Thragtusk for it. And now we see Adam Vickers token.
Yeah.
I want to get a playmat made of that picture.
He's very happy in that picture.
It's a great picture. You don't even have to know what magic is to know that's a good picture. Liliana going to tick up again. It's interesting here. I think I might just cash in my Liliana for that Reckoner.
Yeah, I think I would have to. Yeah. Maybe he's got all sorts. Nope, he's hellbent. No, he's got cards down there at the bottom. I don't know.
He has one card left in his hand. So Brandon still deciding what he wants to do here? Which card he wants to discard? Or did he discard that Reckoner? We're on Brandon's turn here.
He discarded the Reckoner.
Think
once.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Brandon attacking in at Vickers. I do not like that play by any means. Well, that's fine. I guess if you're following up, it's 6 of one, half dozen another. But if Adam had drawn a counterspell in that spot,
yeah,
that would have been the biggest blowout possible. And there is another Liliana. So that came off the top of his deck too, didn't it?
I honestly have no clue.
Because he just had the one card. He either drew it off the Think Twice, or he drew it off the top of the deck that turn.
Yeah.
But the top of the deck very kind to Vickers. Now he's still not out of the woods here. I mean, Brandon obviously has a very subpar draw. He did mold a 5 on the draw here, but Vickers with no cards in hand, he has a 3/3 beast token and a Liliana on 1.
And another half of Think Twice.
Yeah, so you attack in here, right?
Yeah. I'd give it haste though.
No, he's not going to. Yeah, he's going to flash back the other half of his Think Twice. Discarding the land he drew, keeping back some kind of business there. So the board coming in, going to trade with the beast token. And Brandon's hellbent now, so this game is all over but the shouting, as Vickers has an abrupt decay in his hand, which he's now getting rid of. I can't imagine what that other card is. It better be a counterspell. Oh my goodness, this game is... Oh, and he draws a Thragtusk off the top. So back up to 21.
Do you know if Brandon is playing any Domries?
I don't think he is. I think this is just that human... He might have some in the board, but I think it's just the decks that play the Searing Spears usually don't have Domries in the main. The Domries are more for like the...
This is game 2.
Yes. Oh, I'm very excited about that turn 18 Burning Tree Emissary. So, Brandon's going to take it down to 10, so he's on a 2-turn clock here. With an Emissary and 2 cards in his hand after he draws this turn, one of which is a mountain.
Coming in for 2.
I think a mountain from Tempest. I could be wrong. Just an old basic mountain. But I mean, at this stage of the game, every card off the top of Adam's deck is just infinitely more powerful than anything that Brandon can draw. Yeah. I mean, if life totals were changed and Adam was the one at 5, then this game would be a lot closer. But so there's a Flinthoof boar. You might as well give the boar haste and attack in, right, and jump with your
elf.
Yep. So we're gonna come in.
Abrupt decay the boar.
Yo. Yep. Abrupt on the Flinthoof boar. Sever on the Burning Tree. Interesting play there is Brandon made the... I mean, that game was over. But anyway, Brandon correctly playing around removal spells there, leaving both of his guys back, but Adam had 2 of them. I'm trying to figure out what's going on in the chat there. It's really rough because there's just deals down here. They so there's like not a lot of people here tonight because everyone's at Origins.
Yeah.
And also it's summer. It's nice out, but mostly at Origins. So like we can't really be that like I had noticed myself. It's round 1 and I'm already like to top 8. Like all right, so he plays a forest. And then he plays a mountain, because they're just right out there.
Yeah.
We have a door we can shut, but this wall doesn't go all the way to the ceiling. So they could hear, if we talked at normal voices, I'm sure they could hear us word for word. Joseph, you playing the event tonight?
Yes.
You play mono red?
Yep.
Do you win or lose?
One.
You win fast, and you lose fast.
Yeah.
Could be either way.
It's very grindy, though, sometimes, It's very, very hard.
Yeah, a lot of decisions past game turn 4.
Do I play this guy, or do I play this guy?
Vickers played mono red last week, and he said it was a nightmare, like 0-3 and left.
Yeah.
But that is the perils of aggro. In the standard environment right now, it's pretty cyclical. I mean, I don't think there really is a best deck. And someone was talking about it too. I can't remember who it was. One of the pro players was saying something to the effect of, it's not even a format where you can afford to play whatever deck you're the most familiar with, like sacrifice a few percentage points to just play the deck that your pet deck because you make better decisions with the deck you've played a lot.
Yeah.
You just basically have to like pick the deck, like guess the metagame, pick the deck that has the best matchup against the metagame, and hope you're right.
Yeah.
Because everything is so, there's some decks that can't beat other decks, and it's just brutal.
I really enjoy this type of, like anytime that you have like a Cobblade dominated.
Well, nobody wants to see a format where one deck is the best, but
I love this up in the air. It can be whatever type thing.
I hate Standard. So,
Well,
did they reprint Goblin Chieftain yet?
Not yet.
Then I don't care.
Will you sleeve up a Goblin's deck if Chieftain comes back?
Man, I'll think about it pretty hard.
I'm pretty sure I have mine.
The problem was, it wasn't just Chieftain that went away. It was also Goblin War Driver, Ember Hauler, of course Goblin Guide.
Yeah. That whole like era where I started playing where red deck wins was this huge like portion of the game was pretty cool. Like it was just the
Zendikar, Scars of Mirrodin block. Well, Shards through Scars of Mirrodin, like that 3-year cycle of the 2 standard environments, there's really healthy magic.
Yeah.
You could play a lot of things, and there were boogeymen, like that was Cobblade as well, but like, I don't know, it's not like Cobblade was bad for the game, but like you could beat Cobblade. You just had to, but once they banned that, it went back to being fine. But even before Cobblade, like the format was very wide open. There's a lot of cool decks you could play.
Yeah.
Hey, bud. Did you get off work? No, you're still on work.
This is Mason County, right?
We're now joined by Garrett.
Joseph, can you just please?
He was working for the man.
Yeah, I get my stuff.
Well, Garrett, we're watching Adam Vickers here. He lost game 1.
Is he playing solitaire?
He's playing Bug Control.
Oh,
These
these
two,
against somebody?
round 1, these guys are on Gin Rummy. Round 2, of course, we move into High Stakes, No Limit, Go Fish. Followed by rounds 3 and 4, Skee Ball. And then in the top 8, we'll be excited by Lawn Darts. We're talking about Lawn Darts today at work.
Lawn darts.
How do you play that?
Lawn Darts is very simple. You have like 3 or 4 lawn darts.
Right.
You stand across the yard from each other, like you do like cornhole, except further away. And then there's basically like a hula hoop, and that's the scoring zone at each end. And you throw the lawn darts up in the air, and they stab into the ground. And if they get in the circle, you get points.
That sounds.
I was talking about like
The dangerous part is the person wearing the hula hoop.
I just love like how different society is. Like, like, for example, at my job, which is working in the oil and gas industry, one of the corporate guys was out visiting one of his once per year. I'm going to go out and visit what people actually work.
Yeah.
And he saw some guys walking along a pipeline right of way, which is basically just a mowed. It's the same thing for power lines. It's just a mowed strip through the woods because there's a pipeline under it. So if anything goes bad, you can't have all the vegetation. And he had a hard time seeing them because they're quarter mile and they're a half mile down the road. He said, well, everybody needs to be wearing reflective strips, whatever. So now everyone in the company, when they're out doing field work, has to wear that yellow vest, which I can't argue with. Theoretically, but it's mostly unnecessary for 90% of the jobs. Meanwhile, 30 years ago, lawn darts was something you bought your kid for birthday presents.
Yeah.
They're just spearheads that you chuck across the lawn. I wonder how many kids just got maimed or whatever from this, or not kids. How many drunk uncles got their foot toes amputated because they got a jart right to the big toe.
The Jeff Foxworthy joke was to have the kids get on the mini bikes and throw the lawn darts.
Is Brandon mulliganing again here? I know he's on 6.
I think Adam's just shuffling still. They might both be on 6, I don't know. Who cares?
Yeah, I think they're both on 6.
I think we just all sat here and contemplate this play, man.
Well, first game, Adam literally lost into 5 turns in about 2 minutes. Because Brandon had a double emissary and a foot-hoof bore hand, and Adam never found a 4th land for his mutilate. Then game 2, Brandon mulled to 5, and Adam had a similar blowout, although it took him a little bit longer. We're going to have to do something about this, guys.
I'm just ignoring Joseph.
It's not.
That's what a lot of people do.
It's not.
It provides a healthy lifestyle.
I can't commentate about the match when the door's open is the thing. So turn 2 Farseek.
Burning Tree and the Flint versus a Farseek.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened in game 1, except there was another Burning Tree emissary, and Adam didn't have to play his land untapped for 2 life. So Adam up against it here at 18 life. We already know that it's a cruel world when you're at 18 life in turn 3, and you're already. It's just up a creek.
Yeah.
You got the potential to take 9 next turn if he has a Rampager.
Mm-hmm. So get in for 5, no tricks. And is he just passing a turn back? Okay, so Brandon missing his 3rd land, which is crucial here.
He also doesn't have a green land, does he?
No. So Adam passing back, he has a Putrefy up. We're going to Putrefy the Flint Hoof Boar. So just take 2 off of the emissary. Now, and then there's the Fire Fist Striker.
That's the battalion you can't block.
Yes, I like this guy.
Alright.
I don't know if I like it better than Lightning Mauler or something, but
I don't know if I like it better than Fireheart Wolf.
it's 2-1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Fireheart Wolf costs 4. It's
Costs 3.
Yeah.
it costs 3.
Undying. So, yeah.
So Liliana comes down and trades for, basically gains 2 life and trades for Burning Tree Emissary. So Adam's stemming the tide here. Turn 5 Stromkirk Noble, not nearly as good as turn 1. Another Liliana. Go ahead and sack your Noble, I would imagine here, right?
Look how powerful this interaction is. You just think whenever you can do this without having no Liliana in play.
I'm going to be honest, I have no idea what we're talking about.
I'm mocking the new rule changes and how I think over-exaggerated being able to chain Liliana. So
Oh.
Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, so this, obviously, with no green land, this game is a little bit lopsided, but we know every card in Brandon's hand is a spell. Is this a curse? Curse of Death's Hold.
That seems good.
Yep, so we've got a 1/1 Cackler that can't block. Stromkirk hits the bin. But Brandon is not excited to see that, as it does turn off a fair number of cards in his deck. But he does have, if he ever finds any more, well, now it's over. But Skullcrack, wow, we're making a game of it. So Adam down to Adam.
Brandon, if he's not drawing lands, he's drawing all spells.
Yeah. Well, I know he's got the business, but ooh, and there is a Reckoner.
Barely knew her.
Oh no, don't do that.
Joseph Lewis in the house.
Is this another curse, or is it Tamiya?
Correct.
Tamiya. Tapping Reckoner. Perfect answer here.
It's a good way to deal with it.
What do you do here with, I was going to say, I think I'd leave the Thragtusk back just to prevent, like, Hellrider or something from taking out the Tamiyo, because you basically have to ride it at this point. There's a Nighthawk.
Well, you leave a blocker back too, in case he has Rampager. You know he has to have Rampager in hand if he hasn't had a green lane yet.
Yes, this is a Gruul deck. It is not a mono red deck. So Brandon putting up a good fight here. Having found his fourth land, everything in this deck is now turned on except for the green cards. But he can't cast Hellrider.
Looks like this is an end of turn something.
Is it a Mark of Mutiny?
Mark is a sorcery.
Yeah, no, it's his turn. So Trader's Blood takes the Thragtusk here.
He can make Adam have a beast token and kill the Nighthawk.
Does his lands? Oh no, because it's until end of turn.
Yeah, who gets the beast here?
Brandon does.
Yeah.
So he controls it.
So Adam obviously forced the block here because his life total is 2. Doesn't want to die to a burn spell. But the Thragtusk is going to die.
Hey, Zach,
Yes!
You tell him that.
do I get the token?
Brandon, you get it. Control. You like how he asked me when I already asked you? So I sound like, out there they think I'm a genius.
That's why we're a team.
That's why we're a team. Team Tomahawk. That's what we call ourselves on the streets. I used to play Trader's Blood as a sideboard card when I used to play Standard, like Mono Red. It's interesting because you have a lot of choices now. You have Active Treason, you have Mark of Mutiny, and you have Trader's Blood.
Just alchemy end of turn.
Yes, Alchemy end of turn. So Adam down to just one card in his hand. He just had a Putrefy.
That's probably Mutilate.
It was a gold card, I think. Mutilate.
Play this game once or twice.
How many swamps does he have?
Doesn't matter, he has to curse out. All these guys are 2/2s, 1/1s.
Yep, so he has 3 swamps out, at least. You're at 9.
I think the leftovers are right.
He gained 2 from the Nighthawk, but took 2 from the Trample from the third.
So he's at 7, yeah.
Actually, he would have just taken 1 because of
Yes.
curse, right?
Yeah.
This is right. He is at 7 because he took 2 from the Reckoner after the Nighthawk blocked the Thragtusk.
No, he was at 8. I think that it was just the trample damage, like Joseph said.
Oh, did he
was
get a
wrong.
trample for him?
Yeah, Trader's Instinct. Trader's Blood gives it trample when it steals it. So now that now that 8 of us have worked on that detail and determined that,
No, I mean, the committee's still out.
think twice at the end of turn. That's not how it works. Adam, he figures it out. You just think twice, you cast from your graveyard for the rest of the game. It's a pretty good card. So Tamiyo, 1 turn away from ultimating here.
Yeah, we can cast all of them twice as he wants.
He has a Putrefy in his hand, so if Brandon doesn't kill him this turn or keep Tamiyo honest, he's just going to emblem, and then that Putrefy is going to be good enough to win the game.
Right.
And still has not drawn a green land. Did he side them out? That's the question.
Is he playing them?
Guys, we saw some in game 1.
I mean, he can cast green cards off Emissary. So
Yes.
that might be the plan. Tamiyo Emblem. Are we going to kill the Nighthawk? Guess what? I get it back. This is a fun interaction.
This is just brutal.
Nice Searing Spirit.
Searing Spirit just says, it's like a mana leak is what it is.
Putrefy.
Putrefy goes back to my hand. Do you realize this?
Yes. This is almost as brutal. For those of you who've been watching the stream since the dawn of time, you'll know that this is not the most brutal Tamiyo emblem ever. The most brutal Tamiyo emblem ever on our stream was when Max Turner, who was dead on board, then had an emblem and cast a fog against his mono green opponent at like 4 life.
Oh, I still have this Putrefy?
It was the worst. Because the mono green player, it was the first time he'd ever played FNM, and he made it to the top 4.
That's the saddest story ever.
He miracled Revenge of the Hunted for lethal, and then Max showed him Fog. Then we saw him explain. You could see Max explaining that he always gets the Fog back and he can't lose, and it's just really brutal. There's a Snapcaster Mage. Doesn't matter what he's snapping back, but Brandon has had enough.
Snapping back to reality. Whoops.
What's
There goes gravity.
somebody want to stick their head out and see if anybody? I think we're at a tough spot. There's only 15 minutes left in the.
Stick my head anywhere.
Okay. Yep. So that is round 1 in the books. We should be. Are you taking off, Brad?
Yeah.
All right. See you in the morning.
Are you meeting us there at 5:30?
Yes, 5:30 and
Sweet.
and where?
At the parking ride in Taze Valley, the Sheets. Get off the Taze Valley exit, not the Scott Depot exit.
Okay, sounds good. See you guys.
Maybe I should do this one.
It is a Scott Depot exit.
No, it's the Taze Valley exit.
The Sheets?
Scott Depot exit for like the travel center and Taco Bell and everything.
Oh, I call that the Taze Valley exit.
No.
You drive a delivery truck. All right,
It's
fine.
technically called the Scott Depot exit.
We don't have. I'm just going to tell you right now. Like down here is like subterranean. We're not going to have another feature match for this round. It's just not going to happen because there's only 9 pairings out there, and there's 14 minutes left. So by the time I made someone move, it would be.
Aaron Taylor, he doesn't get to play down here too often.
Who?
Aaron Taylor,
I'm not sure who that is.
that'd be the black guy.
Well, that narrows it down. We do not have, truth be told, we do not have the most diverse of demographics. It's not at the shop. So that's not. I think the demographic is representative of the greater Kanawha Valley.
Right.
We're just not a very vivid meadows. Look, I got it for you this week. I got here a little bit early today, and I put the Twitters back in there. So, Garrett, Joseph, and myself. So Vickers wins round 1 with his bug deck. We wait 10 minutes for the next round. So let's talk about. We were talking about a little earlier. Did you draft any Modern Masters?
Nope.
I didn't either. You did.
Twice.
How did it go for you? Here's what I don't want to hear.
Don't tell us what you opened.
Yes, I did not ask what cards did you open. How was the experience? So you drafted here, right? Both
Yes.
times on Saturday.
Yep.
So on Saturday we had Lost Legion does a really good job of. They held a considerable amount of boxes back exclusively for drafts. The day after the release on I think it was the 8th. Was that last Saturday?
Yeah.
Just full day of drafts. Basically started at noon and they drafted until people didn't want to draft anymore. And they did it at $25 a piece, which is basically retail on the packs.
Yeah.
They gave prize support, like a small prize support,
It
but
was
it was
Dragon's Maze.
yeah, it was a
like,
non-packs. But I don't know, like you can't buy 3 packs for that.
Yeah.
And they were drafting it, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Plus they did get some more boxes from the distributor, so they were able to sell some boxes. Picked up a box for Dr. Matt because he won't be able to breathe until like next month. So when he gets off work, we can draft that. But it is cool that it was drafted. Watched a lot of read a lot of coverage on the internet and stuff over the last week or so. People seem to love the draft format. So what did you end up drafting?
I drafted Rebels, kinda.
Yeah, because they do have a rebel. There's
Yeah.
several tribal themes, right? So,
Black.
Yeah. Well, like I splashed another color. The first one, I went like Saproling Rebel. I was a rebel. I had to do 2.
The most deadly of all.
Yeah.
Two tribe combinations.
Well-
Thallid plus Rebel Informer.
Someone passed me a Verdaloth the Ancient.
Guys-
So like,
That guy's good and limited. It's a
Yeah.
6-drop that makes Saprolings that you can kick,
Yeah.
right?
You also splash a pot there, right? Maximum
I
value.
don't know. Every deck I have Cloud Goat Ranger in is a Cloud Goat Ranger deck as far as I'm concerned. But, okay, so it was, but the tribes they have, there's Thalids we mentioned,
Yeah.
there's Rebels, there's your Giants,
yeah.
correct?
A
What
lot
else?
of people like that. That's a very good one.
What else do we have as far as tribal themes?
Fairies.
Yeah, fairies, of course, the blue back, because they printed like not just Vendetta Click, which is the big one.
Yeah.
But they reprinted Pepper Smoke,
Yeah.
Spellstutter Sprites, and a couple of the other ones like
Latchkey.
Moth Dust Changeling, Latchkey. Yeah, there's some limited only goodies in
Yeah.
there.
And then there's Goblins, which wasn't very high on people's pick. I saw like a Mad Anti be the last pick for someone. It's
I guess nobody's in
probably
the
a little
Goblin
on the
deck.
inside.
Lord Regenerated Goblin's pretty good and limited,
Yeah.
but not. You do have to have goblins. That's
Yeah.
the thing. I didn't even realize Goblin was a tribe in Modern Masters.
Yeah. They have Mob War Marshal, Mad Annie, and a few other smaller goblins. But
With the high end of Kiki Jiki.
Yeah, they do Kiki-Jiki. Kiki-Jiki's good just in any, like, if you're playing a two-color deck, he's just so good. But, like, did you play two colors, or was it a lot of two colors decks, or was it, like, a three-color format?
I played 3 colors myself, but that's because, like,
I mean, was it a two-color deck splashing for, like, a card or two?
Pretty much.
Because, like, Dragon's Maze is very much just, like, a three-color.
Yeah,
like,
if you want to splash, you splash 4.
Yeah, three-color and Return to Ravnica full block draft is a two-color deck in any other format. You're splashing for the 4th color a lot of the time. So you drafted that archetype in both?
Yeah, and then the second draft wasn't so great for me. I started out in Giants, and I got just
and they switched
totally
to Jets.
hated. Yeah, and then
third pack, you had to switch to Vikings, and then you got hated out, and you were into Packers.
Yeah, it was.
Do you have any idea what it is?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get the reference.
There's a variety of people in the store right now that would sit in that seat and would have no clue that I was making a football joke. I didn't mention the Steelers, obviously, because I'm not joking about the Steelers. You don't joke about this, guys. It's a real deal right there. So you got a little bit hated. You started in Giants, and then ended up having to switch.
Yeah. So I went to Rebels, which didn't do very well.
Did they have a cause?
No, they were just
because the Rebels, the Rebels are like I know a lot of people haven't. I know you for sure haven't been playing. I know Garrett wasn't as well, but like when Rebels came out in Mercadian Mass Block, like people forget like they're changing the Legend rule now. The reason the Legend rule is what it is because of Rebels in Mercadian Mass Block. So Rebels in Mass Block was clearly the best standard deck. It wasn't even close. Like it's a very much a Caw-Blade type format where you either built a deck that was exclusively designed to build Rebels or you played Rebels yourself. And the best card was Lynn Civvy, who was a legend. She was just 3-drop, and you could tutor for Rebel but it was X. It wasn't a.
Okay.
It wasn't a. I thought you had a Lynn Civvy.
No, I have a March sleeve. I'm just cutting to it each time.
Okay. But yeah, so basically the mirror was just a matter of who landed Lynn Civvy first. So if you were on the play and had to turn 3 Lynn Civvy, like you won like 90% of those games.
Yeah.
So they changed the rule because the old Legend rule was that if you had Lynn Civvy in play, they couldn't play their Lynn Civvy. So it was just a one-sided affair. They had to remove Lynn Civvy before you could play your own. Then they changed that rule so that one of them negates the other and they both die. And then it became Magic as we know today, because before that it was just like, all right, I'm going first. I have a turn 3 Lynn Civvy, or I missed my turn, my turn 3 Lynn Civvy, so now I don't have. Now I played mine on the draw on turn 3, and then the game's over. Because there's just because your Rebels abilities you're tutoring for, and Lynn Civvy can tutor for X, so you could just always get whatever card you needed in every situation. It was just brutal. So
was it like X and then get one less than X, or?
They would just get whatever it costed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really good. I'd bring it up, but I guess we can bring it up with MTG, but
this is driving me crazy. Okay, I don't know where this card is in my deck, but I'm going to cut to a wasteland. Oh, that's just right.
Hey, what's marked about it?
You can just tell.
We'll just tell your opponent to always cut to that.
Yeah.
Because you love Wasteland.
I checked it last night and I could cut to a scrubland.
So Lynn Civvy didn't work,
I just noticed that. I think it's Lynn Dash City.
I did that one first. Nope, it's not. I tried Dash first, it didn't work. You search your tap. Pay X, tap it, search for a Rebel. Permanent card. Which is interesting because there are some Rebel tribal like enchantments and stuff that they printed like Future Sight and things like that.
Bound in Silence.
Yeah, so like if you play Lynn, like JB, the store manager used to play Lynn Civvy as his commander general, and he could like tutor up weird stuff like that. So it's pretty cool. And like the Changeling tribal stuff, you can do that too.
Yeah,
but
seems cool.
But Rebels was the nuts back in the day. So I can imagine it's very strong and limited because it's just like recurring card advantage and whatnot, stuff like that. So pretty cool. And unfortunately, Garrett had to work. Like I said, I was out of town because of some unforeseen circumstances. But generally speaking, people seem to love. How many drafts fired on Saturday?
Well, like what he did was he waited till enough people were there to do 3 for the first time, so he could manage all 3 at once.
Right.
Which is smart.
He has a lot of.
So, but there were that first 3, and then he fired another 3 at the same time. So I think there was a total of 7 or 8.
That's pretty cool.
So I'm pretty sure it was 7.
Good amount of business for the store. Of course, a lot people in the store means a lot of stuff getting bought. Like I said, it was a good deal. Now they're up to what, like 35. I think they're running it for 35. The drafts now, simply because the card prices. I mean, they can't afford to do it at 25. But and then boxes are still for sale, but they're up to 260 now, I believe, just to reflect some of the price changes. Tron something. I'll just say Tron in the chat mentioning there are a couple of changelings in Modern Masters. We talked about the Mothos changeling already, but it is interesting that they brought back this tribal theme in the set, and then they printed, because changelings were in lore and then that's legal in Modern Masters. Like there's so many interactions with the changelings. I mean, that comes up all the time.
Yeah, there's a couple like red and white changelings that got played a lot in the Giants decks. It was pretty much Giants won the majority of the drafts.
All right, I'll let you tell just before we get to Garrett's story. I'll let you tell just one card. What was the best card you opened? What was your rare draft?
Probably Cryptic Command.
Cryptic Command, pretty good one. Pretty good one. You were saying, Garrett?
They were all about the same.
They printed the elf changeling that you pay extra to get the
Oh, Mirror Entity?
Yeah.
They're probably the best changeling I would imagine, other than Mutavault. I think Mutavault, which, hey, speak of the devil, Mutavault reprinted in M14, and I mentioned, already did that, I mentioned it on, I mentioned that on, either my Twitter feed or something, but I've talked about it before. Like I'm a legacy player. Like I have a lot of older cards. Like those are the cards that I have in my collection. It's not like I plan on owning them forever, but so every time these reprints come out, I'm always just like, it's so painful because just eventually over time, giant portions of my collection just get devalued. I don't own Mutavaults. I have never owned a Mutavault that I didn't that ever made its way into a deck and out of my trade binder. So I'm actually pretty happy that they're printing Mutavault because it's like the I can't remember the last time where they reprinted a card and I was like, oh, I don't have to immediately rush out and. Like we were talking about scavenging ooze earlier. Like they spoiled scavenging ooze. I immediately went to, it was over the weekend, I immediately went to one of my buddies, said, which buy list is the best? And he told me, send it here. And so I shipped them off to the shop that day, and I was able to get like a fair amount for them. But like that happens all the time. And like Thoughtseizes, like I kind of preemptively thought that was going to happen, so I moved mine a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it's nice to see those things. But I mean, the majority of people playing Magic are not like that. I understand that. So it's very good, and especially for those modern cards that there's no reason first of all, there's no reason Thoughtseize should have been like $20, $30, $40 when it was a standard. And then for it to be up to $60 in the Jund deck now, and it's played in so many decks in Modern play that card, and in Legacy. Like that's where they need to do their reprints. Yeah. It's these there's no reason why this 4-of discard spell should be worth almost as much. It's worth more than a Dark Confidant.
Yeah.
Dark Confidant is broken. Thoughtseize is a fair card, but Dark Confidant is a broken Magic card, and it costs more than that. So when it wasn't in Modern Masters, you know immediately that it's going to show up in something else. So Mutavault very good. And a lot of people haven't played with Manlands. The last Manlands we had were in Worldwake, so in Zendikar block, and even those weren't the old, Mishra's Factory type lands where you just one land, one mana, attack with a 2/2. And Mutavault's pretty solid like that. So
actually, Inkmoth Nexus was the
Inkmoth Nexus, but that was even like a man land because it was a control card. People were playing it as put a sword on it. Interesting comment in the chat about this was the original man land, Mishra's Factory. 2/2 attacking, 3/3 blocking. Comment in the chat from stream regular SB Lance about commenting on my beard and it's summertime. Well, I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret, since you are the dedicated people who actually watch live. Enjoy the beard tonight, because on Monday, it's not going to entirely go away, but we're going back down to what I would like to call a normal person beard length, not a homeless man or King of the Hobo style beard. We've already seen that Garrett has cashed in his full beard for the Tom Selleck or the Ron Jeremy or the Burt Reynolds.
I thought Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds were the same.
They aren't the same. Have you ever seen them together? No. All right, so we got less than 2 minutes left in the round here. Any comments in the chat? everyone is kind of. I feel pretty lucky because not many people have left, but we haven't seen not too much action in the chat. But yeah, it's good to see that the Modern Masters, like, it was a big hit. I think Modern Masters was a giant fail in terms of what they wanted it to do and what it did.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything what they wanted to do. But I do think it's cool that the draft format seems to be really popular. People enjoy doing it. People can open a certain number of cards and feel good about it. You know, I think basically they had the one weekend that you could get cards for kind of cheap, but now, like, it's going to be hard to come by, and the prices on per pack go up and stuff like that. But
for the draft, it, like, for that one weekend, the card availability is going to be easier, but now, like, you know, it's going to be harder to find.
Well, it's
just because there's so few.
And it's a cruel thing too, is that reprinting these cards does add more modern staples to the card pool, but it also creates more people who want modern cards, which causes more demand, which mostly dwarfs or equals that supply. So you haven't seen any change to prices. It's the commons and uncommons. You're not going to have to pay $8 for a remand anymore, or remanding with spell snare or stuff like that. You know, did they reprint even Mind Sensor or something?
No.
But I mean, it's those type of cards which are going to come down to reasonable. And some of the rares, like the packs, the green and blue packed, probably will come down to a more like rare-ish type number and things like that. But I mean, Tarmogoyf is still going to be like a $75 card or $100 card. The Dark Confound's going to be the same way.
Pretty sure the packs went down to 10 and 15 instead of like 15 and 20, but for green being the lower one.
Mm-hmm. But Garrett, chat wants to know what you're playing tonight.
Mustache.
Playing Otis Spunkmeyer Banana Nut Muffin.
I haven't made it that far.
Earlier I played Cupcake. I have a great matchup against Cupcakes. Totally took them down.
I think anyone with a mouth in their deck really has a good matchup.
What?
Deck.
Okay.
It's interesting too. I was talking about it. This is just like a first world problems by very very definition. But like now that there's Modern Masters cards, like I get so frustrated because like I'll look in the book and be like, oh, like awesome. I haven't seen like someone has Cryptic Command for trade, and then I'm like, oh, it's a Modern Masters card, and because like I'm very much like that. That set symbol makes a difference to me, and like I just like I'm not interested. Like I will trade for them, but I'm not like, oh, I want that for my personal collection. Or anything.
The good thing is the Modern Masters cards are like slightly below. Like Cryptic Command is $5 below what the lower one.
Because people always want the old cards.
Yeah.
It's the same way with the Shocklands. It's the same way with everything. It's you know, you look at old Mutilates. Old Mutilates are a little bit more expensive than the original ones. They're the new ones. People just like to have old stuff.
And the art. Especially in that example, Mutilate art in the original one is just...
On which card?
Mutilate.
The original one? Yeah, I don't like it
Where
either.
the person has their hand on
the old one?
face.
You don't like the old one? Old one is creep you out.
Yeah.
Question about when the next round is starting. Time is over in the round, so we should be... I think Chad's here, so we should be going to time every turn, but we should be pretty close to the next round starting. We did have about a 10 to 15 minute break between the last round, so... Breaky 19er said that the only facial hair more epic than my beard is sitting in the same room. Of course, we're talking about Joseph Deals.
Yes,
Beach
my
bus.
flowing locks are quite tremendous.
Do you know anyone that has facial hair that is in locks?
There are some dwarves, but
Mine gets close. Like mine curls. Like I have to like.
Does Holly ever braid it?
No, that's weird.
Comb it,
She
singing songs.
She in no way comes in like manual contact with my beard. It's not like she's proactively like touching it.
You chase her around the house with it?
No, it's not like that. It is interesting. Like we talked about this with somebody. I can't remember who it was, but it may have been on the stream before. But you know how like if you have like a baby, or if like someone you know has a baby, and like you go out to dinner or you go to like the store, people are always like, "Oh, little baby," and then they just like pick it up and touch it and stuff like that. And they're just like, that's not how you interact with other people's stuff. Like, you know, like, I wouldn't want you to do that with, like, I don't know, if I had, like, a backpack in a cart, I wouldn't want you touching my backpack, let alone, like, my child.
Yeah.
But people just, like, especially, like, middle-aged women have that, like, they feel like there's just something in their head is like, oh, this is okay.
Yeah.
The same thing happens to my beard. Like, people will just, like, come up and be like, oh, man, and I'm just, like, grab and pet it. And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, in what way is that okay to do that? Like, I mean, I'm talking about people, like, not even people I, like, know very well. And I'm like, this, like, I'd be upset if, like, my cousin did this, let alone, like, just some guy at the Arby's or
To be
something.
fair, your cousin does get a little bit fusy. So that's why I don't like it.
I don't know. I don't know. It was very funny to me. I remember one time we went to, one of my friends, we went to Tidewater, which is a seafood restaurant over in town, and it was me, a friend of mine who I was living with at the time, and then his friends were a married couple, and they just had their first child, and he was under a year old. Well, maybe like a year old, but the kind of kid that, like, it's not a baby. It's not in a like a car seat or a carrier. It's like,
Yeah,
it was just like sitting there, and it's like no less than 5 separate female employees of the restaurant. Like, what would happen is the waitress came in, oh, he's so cute, interact, goes back to the kitchen, obviously tells everyone about, oh, there's such a cute baby at table 16, and then there's just like a constant flow, and I'm like, I'm trying to eat dinner here.
I always enjoy that when I'm at dinner.
Because they do that to you, because you are 7 years
Yeah.
old.
Actually, I'm like 6, almost 7.
6 going on 7?
Yeah.
You're 6 and a half?
6
You
and a
remember when you
half,
used to do that as a kid? Like, I'm 6 3/4.
Yeah.
You're 6. That's how math works.